From the PEP Radio studios, this is Today in History, episode 36. On this date in history, in 2017, Americans witnessed their first full-blown coast-to-coast solar eclipse since World War I, with eclipse-watchers gathering along a path of totality extending 2,600 miles across the continent. Also on this date, in 1831, Nat Turner launched a violent slave rebellion in Virginia, resulting in the deaths of at least 55 white people. Scores of black people were killed in retribution in the aftermath of the rebellion, and Turner was later executed. In 1858, the first of 7 debates took place between Illinois senatorial contenders Abraham Lincoln and Stephen Douglas. In 1911, Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa was stolen from the Louvre Museum in Paris. It was recovered 2 years later in Italy. In 1944, the United States, Britain, the Soviet Union, and China opened talks at Dumbarton Oaks in Washington that helped pave the way for the establishment of the United Nations. In 1959, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed a proclamation officially declaring Hawaii the 50th state. In 1983, Filipino politician Benigno Aquino Jr. was assassinated as he exited an aircraft at Manila International Airport. His widow, Corazon Aquino, would become president of the Philippines 3 years later. In 1991, a hardline coup against Soviet President Mikhail S. Gorbachev collapsed in the face of a popular uprising led by Russian Federation President Boris Yeltsin. In 1992, an 11-day siege began at the cabin of white separatist Randy Weaver in Ruby Ridge, Idaho, as government agents tried to arrest Weaver for failing to appear in court on charges of selling 2 illegal sawed-off shotguns. On the first day of the siege, Weaver's teenage son, Samuel, and Deputy U.S. Marshal William Dagan were both killed. In 1993, in a serious setback for NASA engineers, they lost contact with the Mars Observer spacecraft as it was about to reach the Red Planet on a $980 million mission. In 2000, rescue efforts to reach the sunken Russian nuclear submarine Kursk ended with divers announcing none of the 118 sailors had survived. In 2010, Iranian and Russian engineers began loading fuel into Iran's first nuclear power plant, which Moscow promised to safeguard to prevent material at the site from being used in any potential weapons production. In 2015, a trio of Americans, U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant Spencer Stone, National Guardsman Alex Skarlatos, and college student Anthony Sadler, and a British businessman, Chris Norman, tackled and disarmed a Moroccan gunman on a high-speed train between Amsterdam and Paris. And finally, in 2018, Michael Cohen, President Donald Trump's former personal lawyer and fixer, pleaded guilty to campaign finance violations and other charges. Cohen said Trump directed him to arrange the payment of hush money to porn star Stormy Daniels and former Playboy model Karen McDougal to fend off damage to his White House bid. Trump was found guilty of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records related to the payments in May of 2024 in the state of New York. That's Today in History for August 21st, 2025. Now back to more music on PEP Radio.